So what does all this mean for the country's political climate, not to mention Virginia? My colleague Tom Shad joins us now with that part of the story. Tom?
Stephanie, it was a crushing defeat. Cantor was behind 10 percentage points, proof the Tea Party still has a lot of support in Virginia. Now, I want to bring in local political analyst Joel Rubin in Town Center in Virginia Beach. First off, this never happened in American history. A sitting majority leader defeated in the primary. What does this mean, Joel?
Well, first, it's a real stunner, Tom. Typically, you would think voters would say, I want the most powerful guy possible representing my district in Washington. There was nobody more powerful than Eric Cantor, but he goes down to defeat, primarily because, at least what we're reading, he was perceived as out of touch with the people in the district. He was spending too much time trying to become the next Speaker of the House of Representatives and not the congressman from the 7th District.
Now, Joel, how much of this factors into Virginia's open primary? You know it's common that political parties always say, hey, turn out, say if you're a Democrat, you turn out and you vote for the weaker candidate that you perceive could be the guy that could be beaten in November. How much of that factored into this loss by Cantor?
Who knows until you do exit polls, but I don't think it typically factors into it. This is a primary between people who perceive themselves to be Republicans or conservatives. Obviously, there are a lot of conservatives in the 7th District, which includes the west end of Richmond and going west from there, who perceived Eric Cantor to be out of touch with the principles of the Republican Party as it is today, which, of course, is being dominated by a lot of Tea Party's advocates. So Eric Cantor just got whooped by a guy who organized well and had his people out there at the polls to vote for him.
So now, is this an indication of what may come for other Republicans?
Say it again. I'm sorry, Tom. Is
this an indication, Joel, of what may happen with other Republicans?
Well, you know, if I'm a Republican right now, I'm more concerned than ever that I'm going to get a primary from the right. They're less concerned about Democrats than they are about the Republicans on the right, so that if they don't stick to the orthodoxy, in this case it looked to be the immigration issue, the DREAM Act, amnesty, that Eric Cantor obviously wasn't tough enough on that one, and they were able to come after him and make the case. That was the issue that did him in. But I think it was probably an assortment of a lot of issues, including the fact that he was perceived to be out of touch with the folks in the 7th District. And look, that's who you get sent there to serve. Once you get there, you like to move up in the process and possibly become Speaker. That takes a lot of work, but you got to remember who sent you to Washington.
All right, Joel Rubin reporting from Town Center in Virginia Beach. We live in very interesting times, and you can be sure this is going to have it's an earthquake, as we heard last night from Vin Weber from Minnesota talking about the Cantor defeat. Local Congressman Bobby Scott sent us this about Virginia's political role in the national spotlight. Quote, with the loss of Frank Wolf, Jim Moran, and now Eric Cantor, the Commonwealth's influence in Congress will be greatly diminished when the 114th Congress convenes next January.